Good afternoon. My name is Josh Dunn, and I am a staff member at the University of South Carolina. I am here today because I'm a proud product of South Carolina Public Universities, and I owe any success that I may have to the caring faculty and staff at Winthrop University and the University of South Carolina that saw my potential and helped me to develop it. I've dedicated the last decade of my life to paying them back by paying it forward to the next generation of college students. Through this experience, I have learned what students need to succeed, and I have dedicated my life to helping them achieve that success. That is why I am here to speak out against the anti-higher education agenda that has been relentlessly pushed forward by the party with the supermajority in this State House. Instead of tackling the real problems that our campuses are facing, lawmakers in this State House have chosen to use their power to attack our ability to educate freely and support our diverse student body. They've passed a bathroom bill that targets our trans colleagues and students, and in the process, they have made our workplace bathrooms less safe and our campuses less inclusive. Again and again, they have gone after academic freedom and free speech, with some even going so far as to use their platforms to go after the jobs of individual faculty members. Enough is enough. This has to end. We deserve a State House that allows our expert faculty to do their jobs without fear of retaliation by lawmakers who care more about scoring political points than serving their communities. We deserve representatives that fight to provide the students of South Carolina with affordable, world-class education. We deserve representatives that recognize the value that our campus workers bring to the state and who use their positions of power to make sure that campus workers are paid what they deserve. That is why we are out here today with the United Campus Workers of South Carolina, and that is why we will continue to fight to elevate the voices of the workers who make our colleges and universities work for all. For the higher education workers out there, whether you are faculty, staff, or grad student, whether you keep our facilities clean or our students fed, whether you're tenured faculty or an adjunct instructor, we invite you to stand with us and fight. Thank you.
Hey, I'm honored to be here today with my fellow members of the United Campus Workers, and I'm going to try to keep it brief, which my students will tell you is always a challenge for me. I've lived in the state my whole life. I know I didn't see best and worst. What's happening right now in the legislature ranks high in the latter column, which was already quite battered enough. Just the other day, one of my students closed their end-of-term presentation with an announcement that they're leaving the state and the university to move across the country because they feel that this has become hostile territory for someone like them. So just look at me, they said. When I said I hoped that they'd return one day under better circumstances, they dismissed this idea. I don't know anything I've experienced in the classroom that has broken my heart more. Legislation like the bathroom bill hurts trans and non-binary people in profound ways, and hurts all of us by depriving us of the contributions that people like my student will no doubt make, contributions they'll now make with a continent between them and the place that betrayed them. But further, bills like this are an injury against us all, as they're part of a systematic attack on our rights as promised in the founding documents of this country. Attacks on religious liberty, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of association, voting rights. Just today, the Supreme Court obliterated the Voting Rights Act. Academic freedom. Just last week, Texas Tech, a school of 47,000 people, banned discussion or writing about LGBTQ+ topics. All these things are being done under the banner of freedom, but I think any fair observer has to ask, what kind of freedom are our governments, local, state, and federal, advancing our American freedoms to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or are they fighting for Epstein freedoms, control, exploitation, and abuse of our minds and bodies? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is David Bradley. We're the United Campus Workers, the union representing employees across the University of South Carolina. Today we firmly stand against the recent wave of anti-diversity legislation and the broader coordinated attacks on higher education in our state. Bills like these are not merely bureaucratic adjustments. They are assault on fundamental values of integrity, inclusion, and excellence that define our universities. By targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, lawmakers are attempting to erase the contributions of marginalized communities. The very discussion necessary for robust democracy. Furthermore, these measures threaten the autonomy of our faculty and staff, undermine undermining our ability to serve all students effectively. We refuse to accept a future where education is weaponized for political gain. Our campus must remain sanctuaries of learning, not battlegrounds for ideological purity tests. To legislators pushing harmful agendas, we have one clear message: hands off higher ed. Our members of USC are the backbone of this institution. We will not stand idly by while our university's integrity is dismantled. We will commit to organizing, advocating, and fighting until these threats are withdrawn and our community are withdrawn, and a commitment to our diverse, equitable, and free academic environment is restored. Higher education belongs to the people of South Carolina, and we will defend it.
I'm proud to speak today as a graduate student at the University of South Carolina and as a member of United Campus. As a queer person of color and a scientist, current political developments coming from our White House are deeply concerning. Attacks on free speech, normalization of white supremacy, shocking of transphobic laws, and brutalization of neighbors and families by the ICE Gestapo have had many of my friends and family members feeling helpless against powers larger than any one person. However, I do not feel helpless, as I know I am not alone. As our country seeks to divide and isolate us, solidarity has never been so. Organized labor and communities will aid us in protecting those most vulnerable among us. Unions help redistribute power between yourself and one's employer. If such a time comes where you are targeted or your workplace becomes a less than ideal situation, a union can provide resources and advocacy. Last month, union representatives and I went to speak with South Carolina legislators to repeat our opposition towards the H4756 anti-trans bathroom bill. Despite ourselves and many other organizations voicing our opposition, the bill passed the Senate and House with amendments added and is now waiting for approval by the government. We must continue to voice opposition towards this bill and all it represents. In K-12 schools, this bill jeopardizes the safety and well-being of already persecuted minors due to a false claim that they constitute a risk toward fellow students. In reality, trans children are much more likely to be victims of abuse or mistreatment rather than the opposite. In higher education, this bill represents further infringements upon universities as places independent of state interferences or manipulation. I hope that this press conference will increase publicity around this bill, and many more will voice their dissent. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. My name is Kelly Kennedy, and I've been a staff member at USC for 5 years. I'm here to stand in solidarity with campus workers at my institution and across the state, including trans and non-binary workers and students who have been betrayed by their state legislators. The anti-trans bathroom bill that passed earlier this month is part of a torrent of political attacks on trans people's right to exist and participate in public life in this country. Labor unions have to fight back because an injury to one is an injury to all. We can't build the kind of strength and solidarity we need to organize our workplaces if we don't show up for each other, especially when our leaders fail to do the right thing. So the United Campus Workers of South Carolina is committed to standing up for the rights of trans and non-binary workers and students. And we know that this anti-trans bill is part of a broader political attack against freedom of expression and freedom of inquiry in higher ed as a whole. In South Carolina, it also has to be seen as part of a broader attack on civil rights infrastructure in South Carolina's public institutions. The bathroom bill was just one of a host of bills this year that sought to ban diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts broadly defined. The others, thankfully, did not advance. While we condemn each of these legislative attacks individually, we also reject the entire culture war that has emerged around higher education. These politicized conversations around the university as a site of indoctrination, of elitism, of polarization, are divorced from the realities of what goes on our campuses and in our classrooms. It does not reflect the work that campus workers do every day. Politicians have pushed this rhetoric to a fever pitch without bothering to include campus workers in the conversation, the faculty, staff, facilities and custodial workers, graduate students and student employees who are invested in our institutions. If you think that something's wrong with higher education, ask us what we need. We'll tell you that we need to be able to teach our students without fear of censorship or right-wing doxing and smear campaigns. We need to be able to do our jobs well, which means implementing evidence-based practices for promoting student success for all students. We need better working conditions, which means reasonable parking options, safe and accessible campus infrastructure, and the ability to use the restroom in peace. And crucially, we need to earn a living wage. The University of South Carolina's own compensation report shows that campus workers make substantially less than market rates. We're here because we love the work that we do serving students, but we need substantial cost of living adjustments to support ourselves and our families in the midst of this affordability crisis. And finally, we need our university leaders to renew their commitment to the mission and purpose of public universities, which is to educate students and serve the public good.